I seen this morning and probably or last night that you've obviously seen as well. Is this is another big scandal, by the way, and again, it's regard to this government and the way that police go about certain things. But breaking news was that the Sun, the newspaper, had won a legal battle to reveal that a child rapist, Amin Abdi Muhammad, was actually an asylum seeker. His lawyers tried to block reporting on his immigration status, but the court ruled in the favour of open justice. So that's good news at this moment in time. But the fact that these people representing these sick and disgusting individuals are actually trying to get their immigration status blocked, so the whole country doesn't know who he is.
Yeah, it's really interesting the use of the withholding that information to the public, because they say the jurors could get their mind, or the news could influence the jurors. Well, that is information that the jurors will have available to them before they find his innocence. But it's just interesting to see how asylum seekers get jury cases and Tommy Robinson doesn't. He's been in court 1,400 times, which is unbelievable. I didn't know that as a statistic, but that is absolutely wild. And not once has he been represented by a juror of his peers. And there's a reason for that, because the peers would ultimately find him innocent, and Labour and the government know that. So yeah, I just find that very interesting. But yeah, big up the Sun, obviously, for pushing for that demand. This is information that needs to be out there. I guarantee, it's so interesting to see how on the synagogue attack in Manchester, the information regarding the suspect, that was widespread news within a couple of days about his history, his family, his house being raided. And yet, the Axel Rubana murders, that history was completely, thwarted and completely taken out of the public consciousness. It just goes to show what when it's against a white Christian family or, children, the government have a wrongdoing in hiding this information, and especially with asylum seekers as well, because at the end of the day, it's negative PR, and we know what Labour do with negative PR. They just try to brush it under the rug and pretend like it's not there.
Exactly. Shall we see this clip of Ben Leo actually breaking the news on GB News last night to see if there's any more information with regard to it?
Absolutely.
The Sun, this is breaking news tonight. The Sun newspaper has won a massive legal battle to reveal that a child rapist was an asylum seeker. I'll just repeat that. The Sun's won a legal battle to reveal that a child rapist in Britain was an asylum seeker. His name was Amin Abedi Mofrad. He's 35. He was convicted of attacking a 15-year-old girl after throwing his coat over her head. His legal team and prosecutors wanted to keep his asylum status secret during the trial, blocking the Sun from reporting on it. They claimed it could sway the jury's verdict if they read about it, and even cause protests outside the court. But the Sun's lawyers, and I know the Sun's lawyers very well because I've worked with them many times when I was there for 7 years, they're a good bunch. They argued a ban could be seen as an example of two-tier justice, and there was no evidence the jury would be distracted in any way by the defendant's immigration status. Very quick word, 10 seconds. Good that we should know that asylum seekers are rapists. Why on earth were the one that's covered up?
Absolutely, it should be out there. I mean, obviously there's much higher standards for libel and things like that in the US than there are in the UK, but I think this underscores the importance of the industry that we're all in as journalists, is trying to uncover things like this.
Yeah, top-class journalism from the Sun. No surprise that you came from there. Absolutely. GB, lucky to have you now.
Sarah, what a way to finish the night. Thank you so much.
So yeah, I mean, as you just said there, of course, you're trying to block, who are these unscrupulous characters that are trying to block and withhold this information? That's more to the point. How is it going to sway a juror? And this stuff should be in the public domain anyway. The fact that he is an asylum seeker makes it even fucking worse. Because the individual just came over. He's not even our citizen. We've tried to give him some a helping hand in this world. Well, not really, actually, to be perfectly honest with you. But he's came over trying to make his life better, as the left always try and say. And then all of a sudden, he's doing these heinous acts. They should be treated even on a more harsher standpoint, because the fact that they came in illegally in the first place.
Yeah, it just goes to show this government has a tolerance for intolerant people. And when that happens, the tolerant people will no longer be around in this country. It's completely disgusting. I just don't understand. Obviously, this information would be public after the trial, and obviously the jurors will have access to that public, but they don't want the protest outside. Well, it sounds like a logistical issue for me. They don't want to deal with the protesters outside. But clearly, on the grounds of fair journalism, that they had their access denied, and they couldn't keep the information to themselves. I think it's obviously good journalism from the Sun. And I just don't understand how this type of information would affect a jury. It just doesn't make any sense.
Well, the answer is you're absolutely right. It doesn't make any sense because it doesn't make any sense. That's the simple thing at it. It doesn't make any sense. So you're right.
It just seems
it's one of those.
It just seems like they just kind of control the narrative, and obviously what is let out to the public. I mean, this is the Labour government playbook 101 here. Is take credibility for everything good in the world, and anything bad in the world just brush under the rug and make sure it doesn't see the light of day. But going forward, I want to see the immigration status of every single rape case that happens in the UK. And I'm sure obviously there will be native British people that partake in them horrendous acts. But at the end of the day, it's a per capita statistic that we should be concentrated on. What are the rates of sexual assaults? I want to see that data. I'm sure the British public would be inclined to see that data too.
Exactly.